Let's get started. Start with listening, and then learn new words and practice them in sentences.
Do you know how to talk about the weather in English? This seemingly simple question can open up a world of conversation. English speakers often use weather as a way to break the ice, to fill a pause, or to start a chat. It's just a universal topic. And guess what? Getting a hold of this is easier than you might think. With a handful of words and phrases, you can confidently engage in these everyday exchanges. In this video, you will learn basic weather vocabulary and their pronunciation. First, we will start with the basic weather vocabulary. As we venture into the captivating realm of weather talk, let's begin with 4 fundamental words that describe the weather: sunny, rainy, cold, and hot. These are your pillars when conversing about the weather. In English, let's start with sunny. When the sun is shining brightly in the sky and there's not a cloud in sight, we say it's a sunny day. Try saying it, sunny. The word rolls off your tongue, doesn't it? Next, we have rainy. When the sky is dark and cloudy and droplets of water are falling, that's a rainy day. Practice saying rainy. It's a simple word, but it carries a lot of meaning. Now let's talk about the word cold. When the temperature drops and you can see your breath in the air, it's cold. You might need a sweater or a jacket. Repeat after me, cold. It's an easy word to remember, isn't it? Finally, we have hot. When the sun is blazing and you're feeling the heat, we say it's hot. You might need a hat or a glass of cold water. Try saying hot. It's a short yet powerful word. These words, sunny, rainy, cold, and hot, are the building blocks of weather vocabulary. They're simple, yet they can paint a vivid picture of the day's weather. Now, how do we use these words in a conversation? Well, it's quite simple. You can say it's sunny today, or it looks like it's going to be rainy, or it's so cold, or it's too hot. Notice how we use it's in front of the weather words? That's a common way to talk about the weather in English. Now that you've got these words under your belt, you're well on your way to mastering basic weather vocabulary. Remember, practice makes perfect. So don't be shy. Use these words whenever you talk about the weather. Now that you know the basic weather vocabulary, let's move on to some simple English phrases. Now, you're ready to learn some simple English phrases about the weather. Let's dive in. First off, let's start with a classic. It's a beautiful day. This phrase is often used when the weather is sunny, clear, and warm. It's a great way to express your appreciation for a lovely day. You can use this phrase when you're talking about the weather with your friends, or even as a conversation starter with a stranger. Next up, what's the weather like today? This is a common question that you can ask someone when you want to know about the weather conditions. It's a versatile phrase that can be used in almost any situation. Whether you're planning your day or making small talk, this phrase is a handy tool in your English language arsenal. And then there's, it's going to rain tomorrow. This phrase is useful when you want to give a heads up about the weather forecast. If you've checked the weather forecast and it shows rain for the next day, you can tell your friends, it's going to rain tomorrow. It's a simple, straightforward way to share information about the weather. But remember, the key to using these phrases effectively is to say them with the right tone and context. For instance, if you're saying, it's a beautiful day, make sure you say it with a positive, upbeat tone. If you're asking, what's the weather like today? Sound genuinely interested. And if you're saying, it's going to rain tomorrow, make sure you say it with a note of caution or concern. These phrases are not only useful for talking about the weather, but they also serve as icebreakers in conversations. They can help you connect with people and engage in small talk. So, the next time you're in a conversation, don't hesitate to whip out these phrases. Great job! You have learned the simple English phrases about the weather. Keep practicing them, and you'll be able to talk about the weather like a native speaker in no time. Stay tuned for the next part of this video where we'll delve into understanding common responses and small talk about the weather. You can't have a conversation if you don't understand the other person's responses, right? So let's dive into understanding common responses and small talk about the weather. Imagine this. You've just said, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? And the person replies, yes, it's lovely, perfect for a picnic. That's a common response. They've agreed with your statement and added a suggestion. You could respond by saying, that's a great idea, I love picnics. Or, I wish I could, but I have work to do. Now, if someone says to you, it's going to rain tomorrow, a typical response might be, really? I better take my umbrella then. This shows that you've understood their statement and are acting on the information they've given you. Small talk about the weather can often lead to more in-depth conversations. For instance, if someone says, "It's been so hot lately," you could respond with, "Yes, it reminds me of the summers back home," or, "I know, I've been spending a lot of time at the pool." These responses not only acknowledge the other person's statement, but also provide an opportunity for the conversation to expand beyond just the weather. Sometimes you might encounter idiomatic expressions related to the weather. For example, if someone says, "It's raining cats and dogs," don't worry, there aren't any pets falling from the sky. It's just a fun way to say it's raining heavily. And remember, it's okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. If someone says, "It's a bit nippy, isn't it?" and you're not sure what nippy means, you could say, "Nippy, what does that mean?" Most people will be happy to explain. Remember, small talk is a casual conversation that breaks the ice and helps to build rapport with the other person. It's not about being perfect. It's about communication and connection. Now, you have all the tools to confidently talk about the weather in English. You have done a great job learning how to talk about the weather in English. We've covered a lot of ground together, and it's been an exciting journey. Let's take a moment to revisit some of the key points we've explored. We started with the basics, diving into the heart of weather vocabulary. We learned words that describe common weather conditions, such as sunny, rainy, cold, and hot. These are the building blocks of any weather conversation, and you've got them down pat. From there, we moved on to simple English phrases. We looked at sentences like, "It's a beautiful day," "What's the weather like today?" and "It's going to rain tomorrow." These are not just phrases. They are bridges that connect us to others, sparking conversations, and breaking the ice. Next, we turned our attention to understanding common responses and small talk about the weather. This is where your conversations can truly flourish. By mastering these responses, you can engage in casual chit-chat or dive into deeper discussions, all starting with the simple topic of weather. Remember, practice makes perfect. Keep practicing these phrases, and soon you'll be talking about the weather like a native speaker. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel. So don't shy away from starting a conversation about the weather next time you meet someone. It's a great way to connect and practice your English. Until next time, keep practicing your English.
Let's learn new words and practice English at level A1. Sunny, when the sun is shining brightly. Example, "It's a sunny day today, so let's go to the park." Rainy, when it is raining. Example, "I need an umbrella because it's rainy outside." Cloudy, when there are many clouds in the sky. Example, "The sky looks cloudy, but it's not raining yet." Windy, when there is a lot of wind. Example, "It's very windy today, so hold on to your hat." Cold, when the temperature is low. Example, "It's cold outside, so don't forget to wear your coat."